Thinking about starting your own podcast? I think it's a good idea that you try Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. And Anchor gives you everything you need in one place. And the best part is that it's free. And the other best part is you can use it right from your phone or your computer. And I've been using it from my phone this entire time. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it really sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast, and there's no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey guys, KT here. I'm on Connections with Katie or Connect with KT. I am on this podcast to give you guys news that I feel like is important or information that I feel like everybody should, have available to them. If you know me personally, you know I'm one that likes to think a lot. I like to talk a lot. I have a lot of information and a lot of things that go on in my head. And I guess you could call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't necessarily believe in every single one of them, but, when you look at research and data and you kind of add things up, things create or, kind of lead you to become more open-minded. You have more wisdom, and they talk about, the older you get, the more you're kind of capable of kind of taking in that information and breaking it down compared to when you're younger. So basically, I feel like my calling here is to, as a human being on this earth, is to, communicate with my fellow people and to always, provide you with the best information and best news that I can. So, so Dr. Buttar is somebody who is very well known. You can go on askdrbuttar.com and you can follow him on all social media sites. He's very famous and you can see everything you need to know about him so you can kind of, know where my resources are coming from. So one of the things that he was talking about in a recent YouTube video is our instincts. So something that we all have, and we have these, we have a gut feeling or something that's telling us something isn't right. And I think a lot of us have had that feeling, a kind of a feeling of uneasy, of not really knowing what's going on right now. Is this COVID-19 really serious? Should be taking it seriously? Should be getting vaccines? How is there a vaccine? There's just, so many more questions. So here's some of the things that Dr. Buttar talked about and I believe to be true. And, some things maybe it's going to seem crazy. And a lot of people, I'm sure, will think I'm crazy. I know it's a lot of information to take in, and he even says this too, this is a lot of information for people to kind of process, but it's something that is, even as a civilian, to talk about and to get out to you guys. So, and if you hear me breathing heavy, it's just because I have a lot to say. So basically, to start with, what's going to happen is what he believes to happen is there going to be a second wave of this COVID-19. And this is something that was, pre-planned. So this COVID-19 is something that was man-made, and it wasn't necessarily some virus that was just, planted or came from the earth. It was something that was man-made. It was planted on the earth, and it was meant for destruction. And there's a whole long story on, Dr. Fauci. I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. I just think his name's funny, so I can never say it correctly. He, for many, many years has created these vaccines. So the H1N1, for example, when that vaccine came out, 64 people that died actually did confirm to have the vaccine. And so basically, what I'm saying is, going back to the second wave, when everybody stays inside, your immune system gets weakened. And when we're wearing these masks, the reason they're pushing that so much is because that actually weakens the immune system more, because you're not actually getting the appropriate oxygen in your body. And, your body has to work extra harder to get oxygen to the body. So then that stresses the body out, which I thought was really important for people to know, because a lot of people are out here walking around with masks on, and little do we know that it's actually restricting a lot of the oxygen that's going to our body, which is, stressing us out. And if you guys know anything about stress, which I'm sure 90% of the population does know, when you're stressed out, that causes your immune system to get, your immune system is lower, so you're more susceptible to get sick. So think about, everybody's staying inside, everybody's wearing masks. So when everybody is allowed to go back out, everybody's immune systems are going to be dampened at that point. And because, what you're showing is that wearing a mask is actually, and I'll get into that a little bit more too, wearing a mask is actually appropriate and it's keeping you safe. But the thing is that, and Dr. Buttar said this, I'm going to reference him a lot because this is where I got the information. He said the masks are actually meant for doctors, surgeons to protect the patients. So the doctors aren't actually protecting themselves from anything. The masks are actually meant to protect the patients. So anything that the doctors, spit, anything from their eyes, or, well, obviously, the eyewear is protected for both. But, your mask is really so that, none of those fluids or anything like that actually is for the patient. So that's pretty interesting as well. And the second wave is meant for, so when, everybody gets sick, supposedly the second time, because we're coming out, where our immune systems are dampened, our oxygen levels are lower, which is what COVID-19 is related to. And, then everybody's getting sick and they're going to blame it on, and this is related to Dr. Fauci, and they're going to blame it on COVID-19. So, and they're going to say it's the second wave, and they're going to make mandatory vaccines. Well, to go on that, vaccines all the way back from H1N1 and SARS and all that, these vaccines actually contain items, mercury and all kinds of terrible substances that have been put in our bodies for years and years. So basically, when people are getting tested, over time, this has been put into our bodies. Over time, when we get tested, we are getting tested positive for COVID-19 or, H1N1, those things in the past, because those things were put into our bodies. And this COVID-19 was already put into our bodies previously. So this is, so it's something that has, it is a real virus, and it is, definitely harming people. But the way that it's spread and the way that, things are done to prevent it is not appropriate at all. And actually, if the virus actually came from the ground, which I spoke about before, viruses are all over the place, and I've even wrote this in a blog. Viruses are, in the ocean. There's millions and trillions of viruses everywhere, and they filter throughout the earth, and our bodies are meant to have those, natural viruses filter through our systems. And a lot of people don't know that, but these man-made viruses are not supposed to go into our bodies. So when we get the vaccines, and I know this sounds anti-vaccine, so we get the vaccines, and we have all those other substances in there, then we're more prone to be testing positive for these man-made viruses. So just be prepared. I'm telling you, don't get the vaccine, and tell other people to not get the vaccine. It's not going to do us any good. It's not going to do anyone else good. It's not going to make our future brighter. And, they have other ways of distracting us with the 5G and showing us these the aliens and the saucers that they came out, just trying to distract us from, the 5G towers that are getting put up. And there is also website you can go on there is 5gcrisis.com, and you can find more information about that, because that's a whole nother thing. And your kids are getting these vaccines, so all these parents that are not getting their kids vaccines, they have a reason for this, and you guys can do your research on that as well. And at this point, I would say I'm anti-vaccine, and I agree with a lot of what is being said. And with them doing this mandatory, just we as the people have to come together and try to fight against it, or they can basically do what they want to do. So it's up to us to make that change. And they're trying to depopulate, and they want there's like over 7 billion people in the world, and they want it to be near, 1 billion people. And, and that can be scary, but, going back to like trusting your instincts, when you feel like something is wrong, or if you feel like you don't want to do something, then don't do it, or get up and say something like, I feel like I need to right now. So that's what I'm doing. And I hope you guys find this, as informative as you can, and that you take in this information. And like I said, there's definitely a lot more to this. And you guys can research it. Like I said, I've given you some links and some people that you can look up, but this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg on what's really going on. And I just want you guys to, keep your eyes open and don't listen to the media, don't listen to even social media, connect with doctors and look into research articles that are related to viruses and related to statistics that are going on now, and kind of, keep yourself informed on what is good for you personally, and not just necessarily what the news is telling you how to take care of yourself. And make sure that you're eating natural, not consuming things that they want you to consume. They tell you to stock up on things like canned food and box food and all those things that have all the chemicals and everything that they've been trying to get you to consume for so long. That's why so many people are obese and, sick. And why do you think why it doesn't make sense for liquor stores and tobacco stores to be an essential store to stay open, when those are literally the worst things for you, to your human body? And I don't really know how people don't even think about that. And everybody hates hearing the stay woke phase, but really this is that time. And, people can laugh at me and people can say I'm crazy or whatever you want to do. But this is truly what I believe. And I think it's important that everybody pays attention and everybody does, stay woke, and you trust your instincts.